Welcome to English with Abby and Torai. I'm Abby, and today we will talk about the future perfect tense, the future perfect verb tense. We have two other videos on the present perfect verb tense and the past perfect verb tense if you want to check those out as well. But with the future perfect verb tense, today we will talk about when to use it, how it is formed, and then also some common mistakes to avoid when using the future perfect verb tense. So, we use the future perfect verb tense when describing an action that will happen before a certain point in the future. So, the future perfect verb tense describes an action that will happen before a certain point in the future. So, we will talk about how to form it and then have some examples of that too. With the future perfect verb tense, we use will have plus the past participle. Will have plus the past participle. And the good news is that will have is used with every subject. It does not change between the subjects. I will have, you will have, she will have, we will have. It is all the same with every subject. So, future perfect verb tense is formed with will have plus the past participle. So, first example, I will have finished my homework by 8 p.m. I will have finished my homework by 8 p.m. So, the future perfect verb is here, these three words now. You can see will have plus the past participle finished. Finished is the past participle of the verb to finish, and it is a regular past participle, just adding ed. So here, I will have finished my homework by 8 p.m. So before it is 8 p.m., this person, I, will have finished their homework. So when it is 8 p.m., the person can say, oh, I finished my homework. Another example, she will have traveled to 5 countries by next year. So here we have will have traveled. Will have traveled starts with will have plus the past participle traveled. Traveled is the past participle of to travel, and it is regular also. You just add ed. So in this sentence, she is saying that she will have traveled to 5 countries by next year. So when it is the next year, she will have already traveled to 5 countries. So then next year, she can say, oh, I traveled to those 5 countries last year. So it explains an action that will happen before a certain point in the future. In the first sentence, it is before 8 p.m. of that same day. And in the second sentence, it is before next year. Those are the two times that will be in the future. So now let's talk about some specific times or ways to use the future perfect verb tense. Here are 3 specific ways we use the future perfect verb tense. The first is, like I said before, when talking about an action completed before a future time, an action that will be completed before a future time. So, for example, again here, by the time you arrive, we will have eaten dinner. We will have eaten dinner is the future perfect verb here. Will have plus eaten. Eaten is the past participle of to eat, and it is irregular. Eaten is irregular. So this is saying before you arrive, we will have eaten dinner. So we will eat dinner before you arrive. By the time you arrive, they will have already finished their dinner. By the time you arrive, we will have eaten dinner. The second way we use the future perfect verb tense is when making a prediction about an action that will be completed in the future. So here, they will have finished the building by next summer. They will have finished the building by next summer. Will have finished is the future perfect verb, and it is saying that this person, they are predicting that they, the group of people, will finish the building by next summer. So they are saying when it is next summer, the building will be completed. So they are making a prediction about an action that will happen some point in the future. But it is important to know that this is at a specific point in the future. By next summer is a specific point. It is kind of broad because summer is multiple months, but it still is not just they will have finished the building and nothing. But there is a specific point in time that the prediction is happening. And same with the first one as well. By the time you arrive, when you arrive is a specific moment in the future. The third time we use the future perfect verb tense is to talk about life, specifically about life experience in the future that will happen. So this example, by 2030 or by 2030, I will have been to 25 countries. So we have our future perfect verb right here. Will have been. Been is the past participle of the verb to go. So this is irregular and will have been. By 2030, I will have been to 25 countries. So for this person, they're talking about in their life, by 2030, in this case, that would be 5 years, they will have visited or been to 25 countries. So when it is 2030, they can say, oh, I visited or I went to these 25 countries. So these are 3 ways that we use the future perfect verb tense. Okay, let's talk about how to form the negative with the future perfect verb tense, as well as how to ask a question using this verb tense. So the first here is the negative form. I will not have completed the project by Friday. I will not have completed the project by Friday. So you can see the not goes in between the will and the have. I will not have completed. So we don't say, I will have not completed. The not goes here in between will and have. You can also form a contraction with will not. It becomes won't. I won't have completed the project by Friday. So you could say, I will not have completed, or I won't have completed. And then the way we form a question using this verb tense is by putting the will first. So the will comes before the subject. So then the subject ends up between the will and the have. Will you have done the project by Friday? Will you have done the project by Friday? And then this could have been the answer. I will not have completed or I will not have done the project by Friday. So here is the negative, and here is how you form a question with this verb tense. Okay, let's do 2 practice sentences before we are finished. You could pause the video to try to figure out what it would be first before we talk about it. The first one, by next year, I enough money to buy a car. By next year, I enough money to buy a car. So here we need to use the verb to save, talking about saving enough money. So if we're using the future perfect tense, we say, by next year, I will have saved enough money to buy a car. I will have saved. By next year, this is the specific time in the future. The second is a question. It starts with will. Will you, Spanish, by the time you move to Madrid? Will you, Spanish, by the time you move to Madrid? So here we are using the verb to learn, to learn. So will you, will you have, will you have learned Spanish by the time you move to Madrid? Let me fix this part right here. We already had will and you. Will you have learned Spanish by the time you move to Madrid? So this person is moving to Madrid, and by the time they move there, they need to have learned Spanish. Have learned Spanish. So some important things to think about when using this verb tense. Don't add 2 wills in the sentence. I will have saved enough money. We use 1 will in the sentence. Will have saved, will have learned in the sentence. Only use 1 will. And don't mistake this verb tense with the progressive form. The progressive form shows an ongoing action, and this verb tense shows an action that will be completed in the future. It has not happened yet, but it will be completed in the future. And so watch out for those mistakes as you learn this verb tense. Thank you so much for watching. If you have questions about this verb tense or anything else in the English language, leave a comment below the video and we will respond, possibly make another video about that if it will be helpful for others as well. Make sure to like and subscribe, and we will see you in the next video.